Good evening, Jordan. How are you? Hope you are well. I hope everybody is well. Just coming to the end of a bowl of Erinmore mixture in my Chacon. Good evening, Pipe Puffer UK and Gonzalo Rodriguez. Good evening to you both. There might still be a little bit of life left in this pipe. I'll just relight it. I took this one out because, hi Tim, I've been kind of leaning towards wider bowls, wider tobacco chambers. Hi Curmudgeon, hi Hector. Sorry, just look at that grain. I did have a delay with my order from Alexander Briars, I must be honest. I don't know if that was down to him or down to postal delays, but I think if I remember correctly, the first order took me almost a month. I think it took me three to 4 weeks to get it, and it wasn't stopped by customs as far as I know. It just took a lot of time, and then he sent me a second package because my original order included about a dozen stems, and he just didn't include them. There was one stem in the package. I don't think he believed me, but he still sent the replacements, so credit to him for that, but I don't think he believed me. And if I was going to lie about what was in the box, I would have lied about the blocks, which are much more expensive. The stems were like €2–3 each. I don't really know much about him. I was happy with the stuff that he sent overall. I don't know how busy he is. Maybe he's really busy and it's just, you know, maybe they get things mixed up once in a while. I don't know. Bull Moose Kitchen, how are you doing? Thank you very much for the email. I got that earlier on. It's Greece, yeah, it's Greek Briar. I'm glad you like that pipe, Bull Moose. I hope it gives you many years of service. I've never actually smoked it. I got it from him like that, so you're essentially getting it straight from Joe Case. Well, with Briar, it's a natural product. It's always a bit of pot luck. And this is one of his, and it turned out beautiful. This was one of the more expensive blocks that I got from him. Hey Suffolk. And there were some pits on it, and I had to do some strategic hi Sam, I had to do some strategic rustication, but still, you know, that's sand pits are the nemesis of every pipe maker, and generally speaking, the guy who's selling you the Briar doesn't know himself what you're going to get. You can have an absolutely clean, hi John, you can have an absolutely clean piece of Briar, and when you get into it, it's full of pits and cracks. Yeah, well, I mean, this one here, this one came from America, from Vermont Freehand, and it's a beautiful clean block, very, very nice. Nice plateau. I messed up the drill, but that was not his fault, but it smokes fine. Hi John, how you doing? Deplorable. And this one is actually very, very clean. It's nice and grainy. And the only disadvantage of this one is that I actually carved it, not a proper pipe carver. Felipe Gambarelli, how you doing? Well, John, I invested in a lathe a couple of months back, so yes, I have been getting into pipe making, but really on a very slow basis, just whenever I get the spare time and whenever the fancy takes me. I'm not really looking to jump into pipe making as a profession at this stage. Yeah, Jordan, it was just begging for that kind of shape, really, a piece of briar. I've got one more good sized plateau. Hi Cisco. Yeah, the Porjan Tech, you're absolutely right. I've got one more big hunk of plateau briar, also from him in Greece. But the shape of that one won't really allow me to do a bridge, I don't think. I haven't brought it in with me, but I have to decide. It depends really on the rest of the block, if it lends itself to a smooth pipe or not. Well, one of the reasons why I'm on tonight, I wasn't really going to do a London calling tonight, been a bit under the weather, but tonight I wanted to announce a giveaway to celebrate my 50th birthday, which is coming up on the 7th of April. And I was kind of racking my brain as to what to use as the prize package. Cheers, see smoke. "50 years young," exactly. Well, that's what the goal is going to be called. It's 50 years young, actually. In the end, what I decided was, obviously I'll include tobacco and bits and bobs in there, of course, but the main prize I've decided is I'm going to carve a pipe. And yeah, the bridge really was it came because that's what the Briar said to me. I'm actually quite into traditional shapes myself at the moment, but it just, the shape of the Briar just lent itself to a bridge, and I didn't want to waste a really nice, attractive looking plateau. Unfortunately, this one is not a 9mm, and I may well make a new stem for that one. We'll see, because this stem is a little bit loose depending on the temperature of the room that you're in. At the moment it's okay in here, but when I take it outside, if it goes into the garage, I put a bit of honey on it as well to help it stick, but when I take it outside it's loose, so I probably need to do a new one on this. When you actually insert it, it's quite stiff, but once it's right in, then it is really quite loose. But the rest of the pipe is really spot on. The drill is fantastic, really optimal positioning. Yeah, you can see the drill there, exactly where it should be. Yeah, they liked it very much. I mean, you're not going to get them blowing a fuse or anything like that at the Pipe Club of London. But yeah, they were very impressed with it, I think. Yeah, I did try that, Jordan, but I want to get 9mm in there anyway, because it's probably a pipe that I want to keep, although I'm sure it would sell quite easily, but I think I might want to keep that one, so I'll probably have to make a 9mm stem for it anyway. In terms of lighters, just try it and see. They're not expensive. You can buy a cheap Zippo to try, and then if you get into collecting them, then obviously you can buy lots of, there's thousands of different types of Zippos of different cases, but get a cheap one first of all and see if you like it. It'll certainly tighten up whilst the pipe is warm. That's not an issue. There's no question about that, because the briar will swell. The tenon doesn't swell, it's the briar around it that swells, and the hole becomes much tighter, but it will, once it's cooled down, become loose again. In any event, I've got to change it to 9mm, so we'll see how it goes. Hi Daniel. No, I've got I haven't got 40 Zippos or anything like it. I've got 2 Zippos, and I must be honest, I've gone through a huge range of lighters. Hi Hot Wings. I've gone through a huge range of lighters, and when I'm in a bind and I just need something I know that's going to work, I'll head for the Zippo, because there's no piezo or anything like that to rely on. I just bought this lighter the other day at Dunhill's 1A, and it doesn't work. The spark's gone, and it's brand new, so I've got to take it back next time I go. I haven't smoked it yet, Daniel, no. So in terms of reliability, you cannot beat a Zippo. I've got a brand new Peterson old boy style lighter, which I haven't even used yet, because it's my 3rd one of those, and that used to be, if any of you guys have been on my channel early on, you'll have seen my Peterson lighter, a great lighter, but they kept on falling apart, and I had to have it replaced twice. And this one I haven't even started yet. I haven't even tried it yet. Oh, nice, Cisco. That's nice. I have seen those around. You're right, Sam. A Bic as well. I have Bics lying around everywhere because they're even more reliable than a Zippo. Except you can't refill them. And well, there's one aspect to them. The Zippo is a soft flame, but it's quite. You don't know where it's going to go. If you get the pipe insert, at least you've got the circular thing there. But it's a big flame, depending on how you adjust it. But that's a big flame. You draw it down. It's fairly accurate, but you can't always see where you're going because there's a lot of metal in the way, and you can't exactly see what you're doing. Use a soft flame. Yeah, it's definitely better. The downside of a Bic, for me, is number one that they run out. Okay, it's not the end of the world because they're not that expensive. But I find with the Bic is that I burn my thumb a lot, and you can't hold it for too long. But other than that, the Bics are fantastic. You know, they're great. I've always got them on hand. And matches, yeah, absolutely. I tend, when I'm at home, I tend to start a pipe with a match. That's interesting, Cisco. I've not really experienced that myself, that the pipe insert gives you more of a taste than the regular insert. I really haven't experienced that at all. The first thing you got to do is just buy the official Zippo fuel, and that certainly cuts it down. And what I do is I just simply light it and let it burn for a couple of seconds before I bring it to the pipe. I just hold it for a couple of seconds, and that burns off the initial flavor. You still get a little bit, but it's once you're used to it, it's really no issue at all. Yeah, I would agree with you, Pipe Puffer, on that. Pipe Puffer, these are terrible. My favourite matches so far has been the ones that I got from the Danish pipe shop. Swan Vestas are supposed to be the best, but I don't think so. They're terrible to light for a start. I mean, once they're lit, they're fine, I guess, but they're just not reliable enough to light with. The Danish pipe shop ones, if not for the fact that I can't get tobacco from them anymore, I just haven't bought anything from them for ages, because I can't get any tobacco, and I'm not in the market to buy a pipe really. So unless I still look on their website probably every single day, probably more than once a day, to see what's new. But you know, especially when I'm making pipes, it seems a bit pointless to add more to my collection, but I'm sure I will at some point. There are pipes that I've got my eye on, and makers that I've got my eye on, which I'm always on the lookout for something good. Addiction is the word. Hi Brian. Yeah, index finger might be better, Sam, you might be right there. Yeah, for outdoors I don't use matches. I never use matches outdoors, unless I'm in a bind. I had that actually the other day in the car. My Bic lighter ran out. I hadn't brought my Zippo with me, and so I keep one box of matches for such emergencies. And the problem with these Vestas is that, no, I don't have a Zippo pouch. The problem with these Vestas is that when you strike them, the cherry on the top tends to flick off, and it's more than once that I've had it half sort of combusted flick onto my trouser or onto my shirt, and you know, I'm jumping around to make sure it doesn't fully combust on me, and most of the time the thing just flicks off, and they're just not reliable matches. Anyway, so we were talking about the giveaway. Hi Pirate. That hoo-hoo. So we were talking about the giveaway. So I was thinking, what am I going to give? And I decided to make a pipe. Now obviously I can't guarantee how that pipe's going to turn out, but hopefully it will turn out okay. The giveaway is for my 50th birthday, which is coming up on the 7th of April. And I'm just announcing it here. I'll probably do a separate video as well, so people don't have to plow through a long video, live video. So this is the block that I've chosen. This is probably my biggest block that I've got at the moment. It's quite an expensive block, and I'm thinking of making a canted poker. Something along the lines of the BJV pipe that I've got, my stealth poker. Let's see if I can put my hands on it. There we are. So this is my stealth poker. I am an Aries, indeed I am. There's that. So something along those lines. Maybe not as steep a cant on it. So I'm hoping it'll work out. I've not made a poker as yet. We'll see how it goes. If it doesn't work out, then I'll have to do something else. But there will be a decent prize, that's for sure. If I do something wrong with it, then maybe I'll try again with another block. Or I might even just give this one, who knows. Congratulations, Hot Wings. How many years young are you? You don't have to share hot wings if you don't want to, don't worry. No pressure. Sorry, just eating something. I've got to take some medication. I can't take it on an empty stomach. Hi, Josh. Oh, cool. I do like his pipes. They're really quite real, if that makes any sense. And there was a time when I was chasing down a Mark Tinsky pipe, but not of late. Yeah, I have smoked it a couple of times. That's this one. This one here. Turned out to be a really nice piece of Briar, actually. Very, very clean and grainy. This is really the type of Briar which you often get from Ian Walker. Good night, Suffolk. Cheers. Yeah, it smoked fine. It smoked fine. It's got quite a small bowl though. I think I drilled that with a 16mm bit. You see the difference. It's a nice little sort of 15-20 minute puffer. Hi, Boris. Which, what, this one here? Yeah, it's just a shame that I messed it up, but I mean, I messed it up to the extent that I wouldn't give it to anybody else, but it smokes perfectly well. Well, essentially, I generally, when I pack my bowl, I anyway pack it in a way which leaves a bit of a void at the bottom of the bowl. I pack it really in a really tight clump at the top of the bowl, and then as you let go, it expands and sort of holds in place at the top of the bowl. That's generally how I load my pipe a lot of the time. Not always, but a lot of the time. So I certainly will on this pipe. And the last one that I took out, when I took the filter out, it had a little bit of a brown staining on this final edge here. That's about it. Otherwise it was fine. I mean, I didn't taste any burning or anything like that. I have got a bunch of blanks. I've got a bunch of acrylic blanks, but I just don't feel ready for it, to be honest, Hector. It's obviously something that I need to look into in the fullness of time, whether it's ebonite, Cumberland, brindle, whatever you want to call it, and acrylic. Yeah, for sure. But I'm so far away from that, you know, it doesn't make sense at this stage for me to get into that as well, because what I'm going to end up having is 2 or 3 parts of the pipe which won't be good. So I want to sort of not perfect, but at least have somewhat some kind of experience with one aspect of it, which is making the bowl. So at the moment, using the pressed stems, there's still a fair amount of work to do on the stems. You know, they still have to be sanded down and polished, and you've got to still cut the tenon. There's still a fair amount of work to do on there, which is all it's a good place to start. But I'm so far away from that, really, and I don't want to run before I can walk, and I'm not even crawling yet, never mind walking. No, they're ebonite, as far as I know. Cumberland stems are just a mixture of different colours of the plastic or rubber or ebonite, whatever it is you want to call it, and that's the Cumberland or brindle, whatever you want to call it. I do use a tenon cutter from Vermont Freehand, yeah. I tried to do one once myself with a turning tool, but it was an absolute nightmare and a waste of time. The tenon cutter is also a nightmare, but at least you get an accurate cut. So I cut this one using the tenon cutter, and it's a perfect. It does a perfect cut. There's no issues with that. It's perfectly straight. It does the job, but it's very fiddly, and what I've started to do now, it is adjustable. The tenon cutter was about $70–80, something like that. It's not cheap for what it is. It really is just a drill bit with an adjustable bit of metal on the end. In terms of aesthetics, Daniel, obviously the puffer fish, the puffer pipe, no question about that. In terms of smoking, probably this one. That's probably my favourite for smoking. And this one as well, to be honest, the panelled pipe, this one actually came out pretty well. I do enjoy smoking this one as well. I often take this into the garage because it's a sitter. Yeah, the tenon cutters are a real pain in the backside because when it comes to fitting in the mortise, it's got to be so spot on, you know, and you can't adjust the tenon cutter in any kind of pre-set kind of way, and it's literally turn it one way, turn it the other way, and that's it. And you just got to obviously do it, but you know, with the slightest turn each time till you get it to where you want to be. And now I've started to make it slightly wider than it needs to be, and then sanding it slowly to the width that fits. But what I'm doing more than that at the moment is I'm trying to get to a point where especially, well, it only works with the 9mm really. I'm using quite a few 9mm stems, so those are a pre-cut size. You know what it's going to be. You have to check, but generally speaking, from the same supplier, they're generally the same. So I've got a drill bit which matches it virtually. So with the 9mm ones, I'm using I think it's a 10.2mm drill bit, I think it is, and that's just perfect. It's just right. The 9mm tenon is roughly 10mm on the outside, and the 10.2 is virtually spot on. It needs a little bit of sanding on the tenon once it's done, but it works actually pretty much bang on. So that is, I didn't even use the tenon cutter on that at all. Well, I wouldn't, because it's a 9mm stem, it's pre-made. Yeah, I mean that wrench method is, you have to have it really, really sharp for that to work in any kind of reliable way, I think. Cheers, Bulldog. Daniel, that's a Boswell. That's a Boswell Dublin, I guess, freehand Dublin. And I had a new stem made. This was made for me by Moretti Pipes, converted it to 9mm. Did a great job with this, with the stem. Really like the way he's carved that stem. Yeah, this is a good pipe. I have one meerschaum at the moment. I had two, but I did a trade with one of them. So I have one left, and that's the club pipe, the Pipe Club of London, which I've shown many times on this channel. This was the 2018 pipe for the Pipe Club of London, and it actually smokes very, very well. Starting to colour up, but I don't smoke it enough to really get a deep colour on it yet. PCOL, Pipe Club of London. It's a lovely pipe. But I'm not a fan. I mean, I've tried, mortar. I've tried meerschaum, but I always come back to Briar. Really, Sam? You haven't seen that one before? Ooh, the lattice. That was a while back. Yeah, you're right. I sold that one. I think I sold that one to Izzy, to Happy Go Lucky Piper. You're right. So I had sold that before I got the second one. And the second one I bought from the guy who made it. He came to visit the Pipe Club, and anyhow, not Izzy, Peace Piper, Natano in Tiberius. He was looking for another 9mm meerschaum, so I did a trade with him. There is definitely a difference. I just prefer Briar. I found that with many of the tobaccos that I smoked, the meerschaum just, in some ways, made it even too pure. That's what it does. It cleans the smoke out for you, and it just dries out, takes away the moisture, and you get a much more of a purist kind of smoke. But for me, I think that it's actually the Briar which is lending to it and rounding it off in a way which I prefer. Some people prefer the purist approach. If you watch Bremen pipe smokers from Germany, he only smokes, pretty much only smokes meerschaums. He obviously loves that medium. Peace Piper likes meerschaums. I mean, plenty of people smoke meerschaums most of the time. Yeah, same here, Hector. I just prefer the way the Briars tend to round out the tobacco and just fill in the gaps. And in terms of drying it out, I use 9mm, so the filters do that for me anyway, without losing the benefit of the Briar. So smoking a 9mm pipe kind of gives me the best of both worlds. It gives me some of the advantage of a meerschaum pipe, but I still have the advantage of the Briar. Yeah, that's always a worry, Northeast, that you might drop it. That's why I generally don't take mine outdoors. I only smoke it indoors. It's not a pipe for smoking in the car, that's for sure. Anyway, so this is the block I'm going to be using. Hopefully I will make something half decent with it. If the canted bit doesn't work out, I might leave it with a straight bottom, because I'm not sure if I'm confident enough for that. We'll see. But I say if the rest of the pipe works out really well, I might not want to risk ruining it by doing the canted bottom and getting it wrong. I've got to decide if I'm going to go 9mm or not. I have done bowl coatings. The couple of pipes that I sold did have coatings on them. Good night, John. I want to be done tonight by about just before 12 o'clock. I've got to have an early night and try and shift this thing that I've got going on at the moment, giving me a lot of pain. That's why I started earlier tonight, because I just want to make sure I get a decent night's sleep. Oh yeah, I wouldn't cut it with a bandsaw. Definitely not. It would definitely be on the wheel. And I do have a table in front of the wheel, so I should be able to hold it reasonably straight and to get a good, straight, clean, sharp cut at an angle. But I'll see how it goes. I might practice it on another block or on just bits of wood. That's what I'm aiming to do, the canted bottom. I think it's nice. I think that's a really sharp look. But as I say, I want to try and take this one reasonably slowly, make sure that I make a good job of it. And with having a decent enough shank on this, I should be able to turn it rather than sanding it, and I hate sanding shanks, so I'm looking to ideally turn it all the way literally to there, so there'll be very little junction work to be doing. And then when I turn it the other way, so this bit I'll cut off with a bandsaw, there and there probably, and then the rest I'll turn. So the first thing to do is I always drill the tenon and then the draft hole. That's how I do it. That's how I started the first time when I did that live session. Yeah, that's true, Tim. Yeah, I'll probably do that. And I'll probably do that anyway because it will make my life easier with a stem. I'll use a 9mm stem, which just works. So I will then, before taking it off the lathe and repositioning it, I'll turn that, then turn it that way, turn that. I might even, if I can get away with it without risking this bit, I might even turn this little bit at the bottom. We'll see. So that's going to be, hopefully, all being well, if it works out well, will be the prize, the main prize for the 50 Years Young giveaway. And I haven't quite worked out the theme of the giveaway in terms of contributions, but it'll be something along the lines of, you know, milestones, lifetime milestones, things like that. Yeah, I mean, you could. I think that if you smoked a 9mm pipe without a 9mm, you end up having something like a mini reverse calabash. So depending on the length of the stem and shank, you might still get the benefits of that. There's a wonderful article in the magazines which, hi Joe, Mike Briar Blues sent me a couple of magazines from, have I got them here? Can't remember what it's called. I haven't got one here at the moment, but in the other room. High Smoking Fireman, a fantastic magazine, you know, especially now with the demise of Pipe and Tobacco magazine. I'm going to be subscribing to this magazine that he sent me, and there's a fantastic article in one of them which talks about moisture in the pipe, and there's one of the guys who was testing it out and doing the experimenting, and he found that he measured the humidity using some kind of cheap device. He said there are much more sort of accurate, more expensive devices that you can get, but he used a fairly basic device. And he was measuring from, I think it was 12% humidity, 16%, and then maybe 20% humidity, something like that. And there was two people doing the tests. One of them was happy at 16% humidity, and the other one at 12. you know, everybody has their own preference based on their own makeup of their own sort of the acidity of their mouth and all of that kind of stuff that goes on in your mouth. But essentially, you want it to be reasonably dry, so that you don't end up burning your tongue, and that the pipe doesn't get too hot, and the tobacco doesn't burn too slowly. You'd have to do a lot of relights if it was moist, and you're going to end up smoking a lot of steam if it's moist, and that's what gives you the tongue bite most of all. So I, generally speaking, with a filter it's much more forgiving, and that's the reason why I went over to filters, because I just couldn't smoke anymore. I was getting tongue bite on every single bowl, and you know, I did take a lot of advice from people at the time about my cadence and about drying out tobacco. I tried it all, but I obviously just got one of those really sensitive makeups in my mouth that I'm just sensitive to it, and I got tongue bite every time. I did focus on Latakias for a while because they smoked a lot better and they gave me a lot less tongue bite, but they still did. Yeah, Hector, absolutely right. You don't want to go too dry, so it's a matter of finding the right balance which works for you. Well, aromatic tobaccos are notoriously hard to dry out fully, and the fact that it leaves the pipe goopy, so it leaves the pipe goopy, you can't always avoid that. You can try drying it out for longer, but I don't think you're going to fully cure that, and some tobaccos which are even non-aromatics will do that. It's unusual, but they will do that. You just got to run a pipe cleaner through it, bottom line. Yes, Sam, absolutely. It is much easier. It's maybe a little bit lazy on my part to just use the filter, but what the hell? Why shouldn't I enjoy my pipe smoking? If you've got the time and you want to make it you want to make the ritual sort of a much more in-depth and finicky kind of ritual, then yeah, go for it. But a lot of the time, I just want to smoke my pipe. Flattery will get you nowhere, Daniel. Thank you for that, I appreciate that, but seriously, there's so many channels out there which are far better than mine. Lots of channels. You know, everybody's got their own sort of favourite channels, obviously, but there's loads of channels out there, really. I try my best, I do my best, I try to make the content as varied as I can. Got this morning ride thing going on at the moment, which seems to be pretty well received, and for the most part, even when I don't agree or people don't agree, we still have a good conversation and a good debate, which is what the whole point of those videos is. Occasionally things get a little bit heated, but generally speaking people seem to like it, so that's carrying on for now. And you know, pipe shops and reviews, well, my non-reviews as I call them, my first impressions, I try to keep it as varied as I can. High pipes, etc. Right, cool. Some people do say that, Daniel. I've never had that problem at all. I think maybe the very first time I smoked a filtered pipe, I think I did experience some resistance, but now I just adjust the way I load the pipe, because you're going to get resistance from your tobacco and from the filter, and if you ease up on the tightness of the tobacco, then it kind of balances out. Right, what to smoke? I didn't go. No, I didn't go last week. I went a few weeks ago. I did a video a few weeks ago. I think the video that they're talking about was one I did a couple of years back. Trying to find my Dorchester tobacco. No, I didn't see those, Sam. I heard about them. I heard that Sutliff were going to be trying their hands at some Dunhills, but I didn't know they'd already released them. Yeah, that's the way to go, Jordan. I can't find my Dorchester, but I'm gonna try some Woodbridge. This is really darkened. When did I get this? April 2017. You can see the dust on the lid. It's been a while. I'm surprised they're able to have the Dunhill names on them, because Collas and Kopp had to oh no, it was I think it was the Sheraton ones, or one of them. They had to adjust them because Dunhill didn't want anybody using their names. Just going to have a small amount. So which site did you see them on, Sam? Tobacco pipes? It can be a problem, Daniel. It's quite daunting. The truth of the matter is, if you're the experimenting type, it'll never finish. There's just too many blends out there for you to actually finish trying them all. So you either... Well, really, they're using the name Downhill Early Morning Pipe. That is surprising. You did your first noodle pressing. I hope you made them al dente. Al dente. Good evening, David. Well, you should know my thoughts by now. At the moment, my favourite anytime smoke is that. Yeah, a lot of people call it juicy fruit. I actually prefer the mixture rather than the flake at the moment. I haven't smoked enough of the flake to really have a good opinion of it, but on the few times that I have smoked the flake, I've preferred the mixture. I wouldn't say I wouldn't call it going back to aromatic. It is an aromatic, strictly speaking, but it's a much sort of more. It's what I call an aromatic trying to be a pure Virginia. Well, not necessarily a Virginia, but a Weber. I think it's got burley in it as well. But I still, for the most part, am smoking vapors. And the Erenmore is a bit of a distraction at the moment. So, whereas in the past, when I wasn't in the mood for a vapor, I might smoke either a Balkan or on rare occasions, a different aromatic. It's Erenmore that I'm going for. I find it actually a very nice smoke to have in between other genres of tobacco. It's made by Cult. Blood Red Moon is made by Cult, and it's a very, very nice aromatic. It's cherry, chocolatey kind of aromatic, but it is a proper aromatic. Although you do still get some tobacco flavour through, it is a proper aromatic, but it's one of the good ones in my opinion. Sutliff Dunhill Early Morning Pipe, London Mixture, Nightcap. There you go. Tobaccopipes.com. Standard pipe. You've got a ridiculous amount of tobacco, Sutliff. Huge amount of tobacco. Well, when I say proper aromatic, Daniel, I mean an aromatic which is, it's just pure flavors, you know, as compared to, or as in contrast to Erinmore, which you get plenty of tobacco flavor through, and you get a gentle topping of whatever it is they use. Blood Red Moon is all about the aromatics. It's just a heavily cased tobacco, so you're not really tasting tobacco, although I do get a little bit, but generally speaking you're buying it for to get a bit of a smoke, but you just want a sweet flavor with it. It's there are people who just smoke that and nothing else. I mean, there are plenty of people who smoke cherry blends and that's all they smoke. Jay Dagner is one of them. For the most part, he smokes Blood Red Moon or Cherry Smash from Buzzwell. I probably have 2 or 3 bowls a year of Blood Red Moon. It's quite rare for me to smoke it. The days that I'll smoke it usually is a fast day. In my religion we have a few fast days a year, so there's no eating and no drinking for that day, and smoking a latakia would be ridiculous on such a day. And I'll generally smoke an aromatic, and it will usually be Blood Red Moon. I have tried Irish Flake. I have a jar here. I bought it right at the beginning of my pipe smoking. I went into a small B&M in town. Don't think I've been back since. And I asked him for a flavorful, non-cased tobacco. I asked him something that would be not just pure cigarette-y kind of flavor, something which was flavorful but had no casings whatsoever. And he suggested the Irish Flake. It's quite a stout blend, I think. I haven't smoked that in a long time, but I think it's quite a strong blend. Boswells do make good aromatics. Excuse me, frog in the throat. If you want to read about the Cyprian Latakia, you could go on to... I haven't smoked it enough, Hector, really recently to say one way or the other. The last time I smoked it, I don't think I enjoyed it. If you go onto Pipe Stud's website, he's got an article about the Cyprian Latakia. I read somewhere that actually Cyprian Latakia hasn't been produced for some years now, and that it's produced elsewhere. I don't know if that's true or not. Yeah, Pipe Stud has got an article on his website at the moment. I don't remember where I read it, if it was his article or somewhere else. A green tin. You do see the puffer pipe. I don't know if you're talking about this, are you? Hi Ken. I do taste the tobacco, but really very mildly. That's the best way to do it, Bullmoose. You know, instead of getting caught short like a lot of us did with the McClellans and Dunhill and things like that, a pipe tobacco that you like, just, you know, keep topping up every so often and build up your cellar gradually so it doesn't hit you in the pocket in a big way, and you don't have to overpay when it goes out, and then people are chasing after it, and then you have to spend a fortune to get it. Ennerdale is an interesting tobacco because it's a Lakeland, but it's not too Lakelandy. It's not too floral. I find that it's more of a marzipan, almond paste kind of flavour, but it definitely is a Lakeland. but I'm not a Lakelands fan. This is Robert McConnell. This is the Glen Piper by Robert McConnell. I wasn't hugely impressed the first time I tried it the other day, but it's just the first try, you never know, and also after it's been jarred for a while it might taste different. Best Brown number 2, is that a Lakeland? Daniel, Penzance is very nice. I've talked about it many times on my channel. Best Brown number 2 is probably Hogarth. I did a 3-way shootout of a while back, if you have a look on my channel, of Penzance, Quiet Nights and Star of the East. GLP's Quiet Nights and Cornell and Deal's Star of the East and Penzance, and I found them all to be different personally. I mean, they're all obviously Latakia blends, but and in a general sort of way they are similar because they are all Latakia blends, but I found them all to be different, and I think if I remember correctly I gave first place to Quiet Nights, if I remember correctly. But I didn't find them to be the same. Maybe you could call it a close match, maybe, I don't know, I didn't find that myself. But at the moment, I mean, put it this way, when I first tried it, I absolutely loved it. I really did. It had the smoothness, the sweet sour Latakia in that blend is really very special. But I have to be honest, you know, over the 3 or so years, I have absolutely no desperation for it anymore. I prefer a special Latakia flake to it these days, and it's just because it's so storied and it's got such a legendary status. You know, when you try it and you do finally get it after chasing for it, you do try it, you kind of you in your mind you love it before you've even tried it, and when you smoke it you just search out what you like about it. And it's one of those kind of things where psychologically you're going to love it almost, you know, unless you're got an extremely critical objective palate. But it is a good blend, so you know, even if it's not, if you don't anymore consider it a great blend, it is a very good blend. So it's unlikely that somebody's going to say they don't like it, although you do see people saying that on social media, but most people still enjoy it. Yeah, I would say the same, Bull Moose. I would say that it's not worth the chase and hysteria, but it's very hard to, when you're first starting and you hear all about that hysteria, it's really, if you're into it and you're passionate about it, it's really hard to resist. And it's only after you've smoked it for a while that you realise that. The trick is to be able to resist it to start with. Cheers, Sam, all the best. The worst tobacco that I ever tasted was probably Borkum Riff whiskey, probably. but that was probably 3.5 years ago. It bit me to absolute death. It bit me. I was on vacation at the time. Bought it in a shop in Wales somewhere, packed my pipe, and I didn't get through that first bowl, and if I remember correctly, I left the pouch in the vacation house that we were staying at, and I've never revisited it. I did pick up an old tin, a 7 or 8 ounce tin from Pipestad a while back, and it just sits on my shelf. It used to be over there in the corner. I did a bit of a reorganization on Friday. Just tidied up my desk a little bit. So it's not on my desk anymore, but it's I don't know if I'll ever open it. It's a big tin, and for something that I may not like. Chances are it's mellowed a little bit over the years, but being an aromatic, it's very possible that most of the flavour's gone by now. It's very possible. Which amphora was it, Daniel? The red package, was that full aroma? The first amphora that I tried was full aroma, and I actually quite enjoyed it. I smoked it for a while, and then I recently found the Virginia, which I thought was a fantastic blend. I think it's a cracking blend, very underrated. A 2009 Bull Moose, wow. Not a single video on your channel, Bull Moose. So when are you doing that inaugural video? Hi PA, how you doing? Well, you could always do it my way. In fact, it's so good, I did it my way. Robert McConnell, new one, what? That's one I haven't actually. Thanks, Hot Wings. I haven't tried Prince Albert actually. It was just the song, not his voice. I wasn't trying to do his voice. And based on that rendition. I wasn't trying to do the song either, probably. Yeah, I think the reason why I've been sort of enjoying Erin more and more is because I've just been lacking something there, just something with a little bit more flavour. And the I don't know, you just change all the time. And although I've been smoking vapors for the most part, Virginias and vapors, besides for the McClellan ones, you know, a lot of them, once you've smoked McClellan, a lot of them just lack that little bit of oomph. And I don't know, you know what, I don't know. I'm just enjoying Erin more, that's what I know. So I'm enjoying it. Just gotta smoke what you like. I've never got on with corn cobs. I have tried, I've wanted to try, I've wanted to get on with them, but I've never got on with them. Rich dark flake is very nice, yeah. Vapors is Virginia Periques. No, not vaping, no. It's Virginia Periques, it's an abbreviation. Yes, Quaker, absolutely. You want to smoke your granny's pants, you go right ahead. A lot of people enjoy 1Q, it's an extremely popular blend. I think it's one of the most popular in the world, isn't it? If not the. I probably haven't smoked 1Q in about 2 years. Somebody sent me a sample, tried it once or twice, and that's all I've had of it. And people talk about Captain Black, for instance. You know, I haven't tried that either yet. There you go, Captain Black. I haven't tried it. I think a lot of these are just your basic, nice, even-handed, any time of the day smoke aromatic. You know, stuff like 1Q, Captain Black, some of the sort of OTCs, Trout Stream. A lot of people used to go mad about Trout Stream. Then they said it was going away, so people hoarded it, of course, but I think you can still get it. Some people say that Trout Stream is 1Q. Captain Black Grape goes very well with Penzance, apparently, according to Harriet Herfer. Yeah, you're probably right, Bullmoose. Most of the house blends are all, you know, the bulk bought blends. She's quite embarrassed about it, that she actually did that. And she said never again. Okie dokie. What did we put in here? Woodbridge. Esoterico Woodbridge. Alright, let's see how this match lights. Ah, first time. Fumeur de pipe. Good evening. I don't think I've tried Tilbury so far. I've got some of the Esoterica blends in my cellar, which I've never tried. And I tend to go on to tobacco reviews, check out what their constituent parts are, and if I kind of fancy, I'll try it. Maybe try and get it in a smaller tin before I pop an 8-ounce bag. But Germany's probably got the highest per capita amount of pipe smokers in the world. David, I don't know about that. Sorry, Daniel rather. You'd have to ask Old Dirty Piper about that one. Yes, David, I agree with you. The tobacco companies in Germany are very, very good. I would say so, Hector, yeah, for sure. England, the amount of pipe smokers in England is pretty low these days. Sarah Baker, good evening. Tree, how you doing? Welcome aboard. Thank you for joining. Are you a pipe smoker, Sarah, or interested in pipe smoking? That's what this channel is about. You off to a boot tomorrow, Tree? What have I lied about now? Well, you're welcome nonetheless. Well, I'm not into recruiting people, actually, I must be honest. I enjoy celebrating the pipe with like-minded smokers, but I'm not evangelical about it. I wouldn't, I'm not one of these people who goes out to generate new pipe smokers, I must be honest. And that's one aspect of good night pipes. One aspect of the some of them are real art forms. You'd be surprised what some of them go for, Sarah. There's pipes that go for £20,000, you know, $20,000, no problem. What was I saying? Yeah, so one of the aspects of I'm big fans of the Dagners, of the journey that they've been on. And that's one of the things which I'm not as keen on is they're they're going out to recruit new pipe smokers. I'm not so keen on that. But that's just me. I make some of them. I've just recently started making my own pipes. So the most recent one I made, I think, was this one. And it turned out pretty well, except for the fact that I over drilled the draft hole. Thank you, Fumer. Appreciate that. But believe me, I know more than anybody else that I'm useless at it. Really am. Anyway, so talking about the most expensive pipe that I've held, it's on my channel somewhere, and that's one of the Namiki Dunhills, where I was very lucky enough to have a chat with one of the guys in the Dunhill shop in Jermyn Street, and they had a Namiki pipe in, it's the ones with the lacquered paintings on the outside, sort of Japanese style, and they let me fondle it. They took it out of the glass cabinet and let me hold it. I don't think I even had to wear gloves. And I think that pipe was about £15,000. Hey Mike, how you doing? But if I had a dream pipe, that's a good question. Actually, maybe that should be the topic of my giveaway. I think that's a good question. Yeah, Jess Chonowitz for sure. I'm quite taken with Tom Eltang's pipes, one of those his classic rustication pipes. He does a few of them in 9mm as well. A couple of the pipes Mike did the stems for me. Yes, this panelled one here, Mike Billington at Blakemar, he made that stem for me. But the last few pipes I've been doing myself from pressed stems. This one I completely messed up, but from a distance it looks perfectly nice, slim. This is the last pipe I made, and this was a pressed stem. This one was also, but this one I really like the way it's kind of, I think it just complements the bend on it, just complements the pipe so well. Jacopo, very sort of similar to a lot of the Italian houses, Mastro de Paia, these kind of places. Yeah, I'm thinking about that one, Daniel. Well, the biggest pipe that I've owned, which I don't have anymore, was a a Boswell Wizard, which you can see in my last pipe sale video. That's probably the biggest pipe that I've owned. I'm not into the really huge comical ones, you know, the ones which you see on YouTube with the mustachioed guys with the village people look, smoking a pipe which is bigger than their face. This poker was made by Chris, what's his name? Chris Shaw, BJV Pipes. Very, very nice. I've had quite a few of his pipes over the years, and I think this is the only one I've got left. But at the moment, this is probably my largest one, besides for the Meerschaum, which is quite big. This is made by Paul Menard. Very big bowl, huge bowl. And I had it converted to 9mm. So from the silver onwards is by Ian Walker of Northern Briars. So he's made that 9mm. Plateau top there. I probably will buy some church warden stems in my next order for supplies. Actually, we're changing the clocks tonight. Yeah, the Grizzlies, absolutely. I'm not a fan of nose warmers myself. I used to get them every so often, but I don't do them anymore. Although the last pipe I made is a nose warmer. That one there. Yeah, those are the ones that I was talking about, bull moose. If you go online and you search grizzly pipes, you see you'll see some really interesting chaps there smoking ridiculous pipes that they can't even get the stem into their mouth, they're so big. I like the bulldog shape, and I've been thinking about doing one, but I can't for the life of me work out how you accurately do a diamond shank. That's a Boswell bulldog. Cheers, Jordan. Thanks for joining. Yeah, I've not tried one yet, Jordan. I'm struggling just with regular sanding, to be honest, so I just don't want to waste the briar at this stage. I haven't quite got to the bottom of the difference between a Rhodesian and a bulldog, but I think it's got something to do with the carved lines, but I might be completely wrong. These rings, but I might be completely wrong. Some people say it's with a diamond shank or without a diamond shank. I don't know. I've seen different okay, well there you go. Well, you got the answer there. Diamond shank is a bulldog, round shank is a Rhodesian. There you go, Briar Blues. You can't get a better answer than that. This woodbridge is actually quite nice. It's actually quite similar to Erinmore in the style of tobacco that it is, which is a good natural Virginia together with a little bit of a topping, and it's actually not a million miles away in terms of flavour as well. It's really gone very dark in the couple of years that I've had it. And the same with the Erinmore. The tin of Erinmore that really got me back into Erinmore was the one that I got from Danny Shaw, and that was really, really dark. When I opened the fresh tin, it's pretty bright compared to that tin, that vintage tin. I reckon that tin was from around 2008, but it's got that distinct same aroma. I don't get it when people say that they don't get the fruit aroma at all. But I guess we all have different palates and nasal we smell things differently, I guess. Aren't you in Italy, Mike? Or have you not gone yet, or are you back? Lost track. Incidentally, Mike, I've done, not on Tuesday, you must be really excited. I've done part of the challenge number 5. I've done the indoors part of the challenge, and I've yet to do the outdoor one. Andrew, how you doing? Have you started on, we're not supposed to confer, are we, Mike? So you got Andrew and you've got Mike at Briar Blues. These are the jet setters. They travel the world finding little pipe shops and carving houses around the world. The pipe on the rack next to the green container. Yeah, I thought it was Dark Star as well. It's certainly an absolute doppelganger for Dark Star if it isn't Dark Star. Really? Oh, well, that really does surprise me. This one? This is the one you're talking about. This is a 2002 Pipe of the Year from Stanwell. I was very lucky to nab this on Danish Pipe Shop. They were selling off an estate of, a huge estate of lots of vintage tobacco, and also some old stock unsmoked pipe. So I got this one as unsmoked, but it's from 2002, and it's one of the ones that would have still been made in Denmark. I was lucky to get that, and I think I got this one on there as well. This one is from 2006, and they both smoke exceptionally well. Come again, Hector. I'm sure you bought that tin for me, right, Hector? It's on its way already, right? Tell me it's on its way. Oh, Hector. Stop stroking your moustache and answer. Hector is the mad, evil genius, like you would see in the Bond films. He sits there stroking his moustache, twirling it at the end like Hercule Poirot. Not from me, for me. Mike is the Castello fan. I've never owned the Castello. I do like the Briar that they use. My flat cap. Their Briar looks really nice. It looks really nice and smooth and virginal. Groovin' Piper. Moving, grooving. I especially like the... no, I didn't make this poker. I especially like the really sort of flat, sharp cut top of the pipes on the ones which are... I'm a sucker for a flat top like this, you know, with a really sort of sharp, straight edge, and I like the way the Castellos do that. See, this one here, I adore this pipe as well, but it's got a very Danish style rim. But my preference is a sharp straight top, and the Castellos, especially the smooth ones, they just look really, really attractive. Well, as I said earlier on, I am announcing my giveaway for my 50th birthday, which is on the 7th of April. And I was trying to work out what I was going to give away as a prize, and I've decided to use this. It's a nice big hunk of Briar, and I've decided to have a crack at making a poker. That's why this one's out, something like this. So I'm aiming to do something like that in a 9mm, and that will be the prize if it works out. If it doesn't work out, I'll think of something else, but that's the aim. It's to make a nice poker, ideally with a canted stummel. That's what we're going for. Well, ladies and gentlemen, our clocks have gone back or forward. So although it says 1:45 on my watch, it's actually 1:45. Therefore, it's time for me to say goodnight. Gonna move the clocks. I wish you all well, and I will do a separate video for the giveaway, a proper giveaway video. It's probably going to end up happening after the birthday on the 7th, because I need to give people enough time to enter, and I also need to see how this pipe works out, and I'm not sure when I'm getting into the garage, but I want to try and have it ready in time. Thanks, Mike, and I wish you bon voyage. Enjoy your travels. I'm sure you're going to have an absolutely amazing time. Make sure you delete your phone video so you've got plenty of capacity for recording clips. And really, really jealous. Did you say that you might be popping over the channel whilst you're in Europe? I seem to remember you saying something that you might have the UK on your agenda. Thanks, E-Smokes. That's a shame. It would have been nice to meet you. I hope so. Hopefully we will get to meet each other one day. It would be awesome just once to be able to get to one of the big shows in America. Obviously the main one, which is happening soon, isn't it? What's it called? Chicago, is it? Chicagoland? Something land? Chicago Pipeline, yeah, pipe show. Yes, I'd love to be able to get there. It's just the size of it is just mind-boggling. But I'm looking forward to the Nottingham Pipe Show, which is coming up soon. I think it's the something or other in June. Let's have a quick look. Maybe it's April. May 26th. So I'm hoping to make it for that. And that'll be nice. Hopefully I'll do a video when I go. So I'm looking forward to that. Anyway, thanks everybody. I wish you all well. Have a great weekend. Thanks for joining. And I will catch you on the next one. Cheers everybody.